It's getting worse. Financial disaster is coming. And for many, it's already here. It is getting worse. We all see it every day, unless you're hiding under a rock. We all see it. Inflation has not come down, prices are still high. Now we have tariffs on top of tariffs on top of tariffs. By the way, I'm Shantae Charles, and I teach people who look like me how to make money independently of their jobs and how to master money management. As I already said, it's getting worse. We're in turbulent financial times, but you can more than survive. You can thrive in this season. You can thrive in this season, but you have to be prepared. Get ready and be prepared. How do we prepare? First, we prepare by having an emergency fund. We got to have some cash on hand so when life, we're prepared for it. Because let's just face it, we never know when things are going to go wrong. We never know when something's going to break down. You may work for someone and you may get laid off. With the economy the way it is, there's going to be stiff competition for people that are hiring. The competition is going to be stiff, so you may not land a job as quickly as you may have been able to land a job a few years ago. It may take you a minute, so you're going to need an emergency fund. If you don't have an emergency fund, start building an emergency fund. One of the ways I like to say to start building an emergency fund is to look around your home and see what it is that you don't utilize or you don't need and sell it. Sell, 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 baby, sell to get you some cash on hand. You may need to do a side gig that will give you an influx of cash that is not taxed immediately so that you will have that money that you can add to your emergency fund. You got to have some cash on hand. You got to have cash because you never know when life's gonna life and you don't want to get laid off and then you don't know how you're going to pay your bills. You don't know how you're going to feed yourself. You got to pay down your expenses is the next thing. Pay down your expenses. Get out of consumer debts. America, we have a love affair with debt. We figure, hey, we got a credit card, charge it. But if you cannot afford to pay your bill um, without using a credit card and pay your credit card off at the end of every month, you cannot afford it. You cannot afford it. So, one of the ways I like to advise people that if you find that that is you, you can get a second job. Yes, you can get a second job. But I'm not an advocate for working a second job long term because it's just more stress. It's going to age you, they're going to tax you more, and that's just not the way to go about it. I believe in monetizing your genius. What is it that you already know and do that you can monetize, that you can package and sell to others, that they would be willing to pay you for? There is something that you know and do that other people will be willing to pay you for. You are a solution to someone's problem. You just have to figure out what it is that you already know and do that you can monetize and package and sell to someone else. We all have a gift because God has given us all gifts. We all have a talent and we can package that and sell it to someone else. So you want to get an additional source of income. If you have a side hustle, you want to legalize that side hustle because that side hustle may become your main source of income. You want to quit treating it like just a side check that you're just picking up every now and then. You want to actually work that side hustle to make it a legitimate business. So, in the event that should you find yourself without your main job, without a source of income, then your side hustle can already smoothly take over where your main source of income left off because you don't want to find yourself out in the cold and doing desperate things for money in the event that you lose your job. So get prepared, have cash on hand, have emergency fund, pay down your debt, get out of debt. One of the things that I am so happy that my husband and I did before we purchased the home is we decided that we were going to get out of consumer debt. We decided that before we purchased a home, We were going to get out of consumer debt because we did not want a lot of debt. We did not want any debt over our head. We did not want, the only thing we wanted to be concerned about paying or having to pay every month, aside from bills you can't avoid. Of course, you can't avoid your water bill, your lights, gas. You can't avoid those things. But the only bill we wanted to be worried about or have to contend with is our mortgage. We have three vehicles. They are all debt free. We don't owe anything on them. My husband has a Toyota Tundra. Is it brand new? No. It gets us to where we need to be. It's a pretty good vehicle. There's nothing wrong with it. Um, we have a Ford, I think it's a Ford Escape. My aunt, she moved away from North Dakota. She didn't want to be bothered with selling it, so she gave it to us. And we have a Toyota Corolla. They are all debt free. Are they brand new? Are they fancy? No, they are not. My little 2000, I think it's a 2009 Corolla. We bought it from a little old lady. She had it, had barely any miles on it. It looked brand new when we purchased it. Paid $5,000 for it. When we purchased it, we put it on hire car and leased it out because during the pandemic, there were hardly any car rentals available. I was home with the kids, not going anywhere. So we leased that car out and made some money off of it. Car is paid for. But I'm so glad that we decided to get out of consumer debt before we purchased our home. The other thing we decided is that when we purchased the home, we said that we were not going to purchase at the price that the bank said we qualified for. We sat down and we figured out how much we could afford and that my husband could afford to pay on just his income for the mortgage. And that's how we purchased our home. We did not say, oh, they said we qualify for this amount, so we're going to look for a home at this price. Now, the market was tight here in North Dakota, and we kept getting outbid. And some days we weren't even outbid. We would go to look for a home, and the realtor would say, Shantae, don't even bother. They said they're going to take the last offer. They got an offer. They're tired of showing. They don't want to take no more offers. So at one point, it was looking kind of iffy. It was looking kind of iffy, but we stuck to our guns and we purchased our home. I think we got it for like $20,000 or $30,000 less than what we qualified for. And our mortgage payment is a mortgage payment that my husband can afford to pay on just his income. And in the event that if my husband gets laid off, the money I make can cover the mortgage. That's how we decided to purchase our home because we wanted to set ourselves up for success. See, I owned a home before getting married and I almost lost that joker. And I had some sleepless, worry, worrisome nights. And I told myself that if I purchased a home again, I was going to do things a little different. And we did. We got out of consumer debt. So the only thing we have is our mortgage and bills that you can't avoid. You can't avoid paying. You know, if you want to keep lights on, we don't live off the grid. We don't have any car note. And my husband says he's never going to buy another car on payments again. But I always said if I do ever purchase a car on a car note, it will be because our investment property pays for our pays for my car note. And that's the other thing why we didn't purchase a home with both of our incomes because we figured we purchased the home that we live in using my husband's income. We make the payment according to what he can pay on just his income. And in my income, my credit, we use to buy an investment property. And that's helping us build wealth opposed to being worried about getting the new fancy. Now, I love luxury. I have nice high price taste. I don't even know I have high price taste. I just go in the store and look at something because I think it's nice and I turn it over the tag and I'm like, ooh, okay. Excuse me. But I'm learning that I don't have to get that. I don't have to do that. Yes, a new house would be great. But what's better is knowing that I can sleep easy at night. Knowing that if my husband loses his job, I'm not going to be in a panic that we're going to go into foreclosure. I'm not going to be in a panic that we'll have time to adjust. And we have more than one source of income. We don't depend on just one source of income. That's the other thing. You want to have more than one source of income because you never know where life is going to take you. And these jobs ain't loyal. I know that's not proper English, but these jobs ain't loyal. Have a job today, no jobs tomorrow. And the economy, one thing about employers, because they're in a business to make money and they want to save money, the more money they save, the more money they put in their pocket, is if they can pay people less, they're going to pay people less. They're going to pay you less money. So if there are a lot of people looking for a job, the competition is stiff, they're probably going to pay less. They're going to pay less because they know when people get desperate, they're willing to take less. You know, you've heard the saying before, better than a piece of job than no job. But why put yourself in that situation where you can help it, where if you can help it? So monetize your genius. We all have something that we know and that we do that we can package and sell to other people. We all have a skill. God has blessed us all with the talent that we can package and sell to other people. What problems do you solve? What problems do your friends and family members already come to you for to help you with? Think about it. Now monetize it. Put a price on it. Start selling it to other people. It can be done. You don't have to stay in a place of living paycheck to paycheck if you already live there and you're living paycheck to paycheck, not knowing how you're going to make ends meet. You're getting stressed, you're getting frustrated, and you don't even want to go back to college. Now, I'm not knocking college. I'm definitely not knocking college. But if you're like me, when my husband lost his job because oil production was down here in North Dakota, I didn't have time to go back to get another certification. I needed to make some money, and I needed to make some money as soon as possible to help change our financial situation. I did not want to raise our kids on food stamps. I did not want to be on Medicaid. And my Trinidadian husband was definitely having a fit about that because in his country they don't have social services program. He's like, I'm gonna get another job and whatever, whatever. But I didn't have time to get another certification to get a higher paying job. I had to take my $12 skill as a CNA, certified nursing assistant, and I turned it into a business. I started a non-medical in-home care business. 15 employees, over six figures in less than 12 months. Once I figured out what I was doing, what did I do? I started teaching classes, teaching other people how to do the same thing. Especially when I learned that you didn't need any medical experience. You don't need to be a nurse. You don't need to be a doctor. You don't even need to be a CNA to start a non-medical in-home care agency. Once I learned that, I started teaching other mothers, hey, you know, you're tired of being overworked, underpaid, unappreciated. You want to help your husband? Here's something you can do. You don't need any experience in the medical field. I started teaching other people how to do the same thing. One of my students has 30 employees, does $1 million in revenue. Now, medical care, non-medical in-home care may not be for you. Some states, there's a lot of red tape. It may be expensive for you to get started. Or there may be something you just don't want to do. You don't want to be bothered with having a lot of employees, all that kind of stuff. That may not be for you. Everything isn't for everybody. But you do have something that you know and do that you can monetize, that you can package and sell to other people. You just have to figure out what that thing is. And that's where I come in. I want you to click the link down in the description box of this video and get your free copy of the Monetize Your Genius Starter Checklist. That is a checklist that will help you discover what it is that you already know and do that you can package and sell to someone else. That is going to help you make additional income. That is going to help you turn what you already know and do into a business. Because yes, times are tight, times are getting worse. We are in a financial crisis. It's just going to get worse, but you do not have to be barely getting by. You don't have to be surviving. I am a firm believer that you can thrive in this season. You can set yourself up for success. If you study history, whenever there has been a financial crisis, someone has gotten wealthy, and it can be you. It can be you. Now, you may say, Shantae, what I know how to meal plan. Am I going to make $1 million on meal planning? You may not. You may not. You could, because nothing is impossible if you believe. You may not. But you may make the money. You may make 30, 40, $50,000 selling meal plans. That money that you're making selling meal plans, in addition to the money that you're getting from your job, you can take that money and put it in investments, buy a rental property, start to build generational wealth, put money in the stock market. Yes, the stock market is going up and down, going up and down. But over time, the stock market is up more than it's down. You just got to figure out what companies are stable, what companies are good to buy into, and buy stock in those companies. Get an ETF. If you don't know what an ETF, Google. Google is free, YouTube University. Buy some index funds. But somebody's going to get rich in this season. Why not you? You don't have to be living paycheck to paycheck. You don't have to be homeless. You don't have to go hungry. You have the power to change it. The word says God has given you the power to get wealth. Will you use your power? So click the link down in the description box. Get your free download of Monetize Your Genius Starter Checklist. Until next time, be blessed. Have a prosperous future.